All right, Chris, it's Black Friday, so we're going to do a little shopping here. We're going to take a look at some of the biggest names in the upcoming NFL free agency class to see who you think is going to be some big-time good buys on the market in 2017.
Okay.
Let's start with the quarterback position, where quarterback Kirk Cousins is really making the most of this one-year deal in Washington. He's set to become a free agent. How good of a buy would Kirk Cousins be on the open market this year?
Well, he'd be a huge buy on the open market. I mean, you're looking at what he's done, his body of work this season, 6-3-1. He's guided his team to being competitive in the NFC East. 17 touchdowns to only 7 picks, over 3,000 yards. Really impressive win this past Sunday over the Green Bay Packers. Kirk Cousins has got this team rolling right now. Big challenge ahead of them Thanksgiving Day against the Dallas Cowboys, so we'll see how that matchup goes. But all in all, he's got this Washington Redskins team competitive. He's already got one NFC East title under his belt from last season. Let's see if he can do it again this year. But either way, he's going to get paid.
You think the Redskins get a little competition in the market for Cousins?
Yeah, I think so. There's a quarterback-starved league. A lot of teams that need a quarterback. The New York Jets are always looking for a quarterback. The Chicago Bears might be looking for a quarterback because of Jay Cutler underperforming, and now he's got the shoulder injury. So there are a lot of teams that are going to be in the market for a young quarterback, a franchise player. They think that they're a quarterback away with the rosters that are tooled up for. So it'll be interesting to see who comes in. There's always a dark horse in free agency. It'll be interesting who drives the price up on Kirk Cousins.
How about the running back position? Hasn't been a position of hot commodity over the last few years, but LeVeon Bell could be a free agent. If you're a GM, are you spending a little money on LeVeon Bell?
Absolutely, I would. I saw more of this guy in the AFC North than I really wanted to, being with the Baltimore Ravens the past 3 years. But Lev Bell is one of those special talents, and you see that in the running back marketplace. The guys at the top really get paid well. Adrian Peterson, LaShawn McCoy, just to name a couple. But those guys are really dynamic players. They're different makers. They change the complexion of the offense. And so when you look at what Lev Bell does for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he opens up opportunities for everybody else. He has an elite ability to be able to accelerate to the hole and through the hole. He's got elite vision as well. He's patient enough to be able to allow his blockers to get in position and set those guys up so he can maximize the opportunities on the ground game. He's also a dynamic receiver. You can split him out. He's a mismatch with linebackers. So a lot of different things that Lev Bell can do. He can change an offense. He's an explosive player, and everybody would want to have a running back like that.
Let me ask you about two wide receivers here. I want to know who's a good buy and who maybe you would leave on the rack.
Okay.
Alshon Jeffery and Terrell Pryor.
I'm going to leave Alshon Jeffery on the rack, and here's why I'll say that. Just some injury concerns over the past couple of years. He's had the PED suspension of late. I just, right now, it's not a lot going on. I don't see it trending up for Alshon Jeffery, and it's not all his fault. There's been inconsistent play at the quarterback position in Chicago the past couple of years. But Alshon, he came into the league, he made a lot of noise, but he's kind of tailed off. Terrell Pryor, I think the arrow is pointed up for him. 6'5", 230-pound receiver, great hands. He's new to the position, so he's still learning. So there's still a lot of potential for growth and improvement. I like the direction that he's going. I think he's looking to cash in on his ability on the open market. Don't see him necessarily staying in Cleveland.
All right, Chris, you obviously spent your career on the defensive side of the ball. If you're going shopping here, you're looking for a bargain from a defensive player, or are you going to spend a little bucks here?
Yeah, I'm going to spend some money on the defensive side of the ball, and I've got to admit, I'm partial to those guys. Defense wins championships, as they say. But everybody spends a lot of money on these pass rushers, guys that can get after the quarterback. But I want to spend some money on the guys that complement them, the run stuffers. Those pass rushers aren't very good when you got 2nd and 3 and 3rd and 1. They're not allowed to be able to tee off. They can't make offenses one-dimensional. Those run stuffers have got to make sure that they keep those offenses off schedule. So I got to go with my guy, former teammate Brandon Williams, been an elite run defender the past couple of years in the National Football League. He makes a difference in terms of being able to clog up the middle, being able to make sure that teams don't get the easy yards on the ground, force teams to throw the football, and that's when guys like Terrell Suggs and Elvis Dumervil and Zadarius Smith can get after the quarterback. He sets all of those guys up so they can do their thing, so I think that teams need to set him up with a big contract in free agency.
All right, it's the end of the year, good time of year to look back on some previous purchases, maybe ones that you might regret if you're a
little
general
buyer's
manager.
remorse.
Yeah, who has buyer's remorse? Looking back at last year's free agent class and the signings, who was the biggest free agent bust so far this season?
I've got to go with Brock Osweiler. And I know that his team is first place in the AFC South, but just the way he's been playing, not really taking advantage of all the weapons that he has down in Houston. He's got DeAndre Hopkins. He's got Will Fuller. He's got Lamar Miller in the backfield. C.J. Fedorowicz as his safety valve in the tight end. but yet he's not being able to facilitate this offense. They should be a lot more dynamic, a lot more explosive than they are. A lot of misses in the passing game, a lot of turnovers in the passing game, a lot of indecision in terms of how he's operating that offense. I really don't like the fit right now. I think there's a lot to be desired in terms of the contract that they gave him versus the production on the field.
All right, also, everyone loves a sale, right? I mean, you look back and say, I can't believe I got this suit for that price. Well, who's outperformed their deal? Who do you like that's been well worth the money and beyond?
Well, I don't know about the sale price, but I've got to go with my former teammate, Kelechi Osemele. He's playing for the Oakland Raiders, and I know a lot of love goes to Derek Carr and Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree and those guys. But really, it's the offensive line that sets the tone for the Oakland Raiders, probably the second best offensive line in the National Football League behind the Dallas Cowboys. But he's a road grader type of guy, but he's also good enough, he's versatile enough to be able to be that dancing bear in pass protection. He can play guard and tackle. He can play along the entire offensive line. So that gives that group a lot of versatility in terms of what they can do. Derek Carr playing at an MVP level, a big part of that is keeping the pocket clean so he can throw the ball, and that's what KO does for that Oakland Raiders team.